There is a moment around 2 a.m. when your brain stops fighting and starts folding. You've been staring at the same page for 40 minutes. The words are moving, the coffee is cold, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a small voice is asking, "Why am I doing this to myself?" This is not a story about productivity hacks. This is not about waking up at 5 a.m. or drinking green smoothies. This is about the people who study while exhausted and the strange, almost beautiful thing that happens when they refuse to quit. Let me tell you about the 2 a.m. study session, not the glamorous version, the real one, the one where your desk is a war zone of highlighters and half-empty energy drinks, where your phone is face down because you know that one Instagram reel will cost you an hour, where your eyes burn and your back aches and you are, by every rational metric, past your limit. And yet, you keep reading. Here's what most people don't understand about studying while tired. It's not about willpower. Willpower is a battery. It drains. What keeps you going at 2 a.m. is something deeper. It's identity. It's the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you're willing to endure to become the person you want to be. The student who pushes through exhaustion isn't doing it because they love organic chemistry. They're doing it because they have decided, somewhere, at some point, in some quiet moment, that they are the kind of person who does not quit when it gets hard. This is the first thing that separates high performers from everyone else. Not intelligence, not talent, not even discipline. It's the willingness to be uncomfortable for longer than most people can tolerate. Think about the last time you tried to learn something difficult. Maybe it was a new language, maybe it was coding, maybe it was an instrument. The first hour was exciting, the second hour was challenging, the third hour was a war between your ambition and your nervous system. And most people stop at hour 2, not because they can't go further, because they've never been taught that the real learning starts at hour 3, when the easy stuff is done and your brain is forced to adapt. This is where the magic happens. Neuroscientists call it cognitive overload, the point at which your working memory is maxed out and your brain has no choice but to rewire itself. It feels terrible. It feels like failure. But it's actually the moment your brain is building new connections. The exhaustion you feel at 2 a.m., that's not your brain shutting down. That's your brain upgrading. And the people who understand this, who lean into the discomfort instead of running from it, are the ones who end up on the other side of something they couldn't have imagined at hour 1. But here's the thing nobody talks about. You can't just push through exhaustion blindly. There's a difference between productive struggle and self-destruction. The student who studies for 18 hours straight and retains nothing is not a hero. They're a cautionary tale. The people who actually succeed at studying while tired have a system, not a complicated one. 3 rules, really. Rule 1, they work in waves, 45 minutes of focused effort, then 10 minutes of genuine rest. Not scrolling, not checking messages, closing your eyes, letting your brain consolidate what it just absorbed, the Pomodoro technique, but with actual breaks. Rule 2, they change the input. When reading stops working, they switch to practice problems. When practice problems blur together, they explain the concept out loud to an empty room. When that feels pointless, they draw a diagram. The brain doesn't get tired of learning. It gets tired of the same way of learning. Rule 3, they have a floor, a minimum they will not go below. Maybe it's 1 chapter, maybe it's 10 problems, maybe it's writing 1 page of notes. The floor keeps them honest. It says, even on the worst night I showed up, and showing up is the only thing that compounds over time. This is the secret that every successful student knows but rarely articulates. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most consistent, the one who shows up on the nights when showing up feels pointless, the one who reads 1 more page when every cell in their body says stop. And here's the part that will change how you think about effort. The exhaustion you feel tonight, it's temporary. The knowledge you gain from it, permanent. The version of you that exists 6 months from now will not remember how tired you were. They will only remember that you didn't quit. So if you're reading this at 2 a.m. with cold coffee and burning eyes, and you're wondering if it's worth it, here is your answer. It is, not because the exam matters, not because the grade matters, But because the person you become by refusing to quit on the hardest nights, that person is worth every exhausted minute. Close this video, open your book, one more page, then one more after that.